Scattered sunlight mixes with shadows on a group of enormous sequoia trees. A flooded valley meadow lies calm on a spring day. A mountain lake ripples gently under gray clouds. A plume of smoke rises far in the distance across a wide rocky wilderness. A sheer granite cliff is marked with areas of dark and light rock. A waterfall plunges down a cliff. Tourists hike in the forest. A bear munches grass in a meadow. At the bottom of a waterfall, a rainbow appears in the mist. Half Dome towers above a valley meadow and a nearby evergreen forest. In winter, the same view is white with snow. On a hillside, countless orange wildflowers sway in the breeze. Crowds of tourists cross a footbridge over a fast-flowing river. A man stands atop a rock formation and looks out across the valley at Half Dome. A hiker walks under a natural arch in a sequoia tree's trunk. A distant waterfall plummets thousands of feet. A massive granite cliff rises high over the valley. Turbulent whitewater rushes toward a cliff drop-off. Tourists relax on rocks next to a rushing river as hikers cross a bridge above them. A torrent of white spray gushes from the top of a cliff and down its sheer face. The imposing vertical heights of El Capitan dominate the horizon over the valley forest. From a high vantage, the valley is filled with trees. Sheer granite cliffs border the valley on all sides. A waterfall crashes onto its rocky base, throwing up rippling clouds of mist. From above, the Merced River winds through the valley. A distant waterfall draws a white line down a wall of brown and gray cliffs. In a view down the length of the valley, countless evergreen trees carpet the landscape. A car brakes on a winding mountain road to negotiate a tight cliffside turn. In the distance, Yosemite Falls cascades thousands of feet in 3 sections. Tourists gaze down onto the valley from a dizzying cliffside overlook. Evergreen forest stretches almost to the horizon, stopping at the base of a long rocky ridge. Trees cover part of a mountainside near Half Dome. A man and a young boy hike near the reflecting waters of a calm river. In the forest, we pan down the trunks of several sequoias, which tower over the other evergreen trees that grow nearby. Tourists follow a walking trail through a rectangular tunnel cut through a living sequoia's trunk. A hiker walks between 2 sequoias, craning his head to look up. The upper part of the sequoia's trunk is covered in a lush conical mass of branches and evergreen leaves. The forest floor around the massive tree trunks is filled with short green leafy plants. Stark, mountainous wilderness stretches far into the distance. A car drives downhill through the mountains and passes a minivan going uphill. At a parking area, tourists stand outside and look at Half Dome in the distance. A dark lake sits at the base of a steep granite mountainside. Up close, the water is clear and shallow. On a riverbank in the valley, a tourist fishes with a fishing rod. The river flows gently a short distance from a paved road. In a meadow, a ground squirrel munches on food and raises its head to look around. Trees and mountains are faintly reflected in the rippling waters of the gently moving river. A hiker in t-shirt and shorts walks in a mountain meadow. A hiker with 2 walking sticks climbs a rocky wilderness trail. She passes an overlook, seeing pools of meltwater a short distance below and a sharp ridge rising just beyond the pools. A wide, still lake is bordered by a flat meadow leading to rugged gray cliffs and hills. In the empty wilderness, boulders are strewn all over a landscape of brown rock. A short distance away from us, the hiker with 2 walking sticks comes into view from the left. In the valley, colorful autumn leaves turn the tree canopies gold, orange, and yellow. In winter, the trees are lined with white and mist shrouds the valley. A thin layer of snow covers the mountains and cliffs. A waterfall is surrounded by formations of ice clinging to the cliff walls. A large piece of ice breaks off, shattering when it hits bottom. Countless ice-covered branches spread out from trees on a riverbank, creating a spidery white canopy. Hundreds of orange wildflowers brighten the grassy mountainside. A bee hovers near a cluster of purple flowers. We see many tall stalks topped by long rows of purple flowers. Clusters of light blue flowers sprout from green stalks. A bright red snow plant grows out of brown soil. A yellow flower sits atop a long stem. A cluster of tube-shaped magenta flowers glows under the sunlight. Seen from below, a waterfall descends sheer granite cliffs in roiling waves of white spray. Another waterfall throws up clouds of mist as its waters impact in a rocky gorge. A rainbow arcs over the jagged rocks and grassy banks at the base of a wide waterfall. Wildflowers on a riverbank sway in the breeze. From afar, a waterfall gushes down a cliff. Later that year, the same cliffs are dry and stained brown and gray where the waterfall once flowed. From above, a road and river are barely visible in the valley below. Waterfalls explode outward into spray and mist as they impact on rocks. A river turns into white water as it flows between rocky banks downstream from a high bridge. Tourists lean on a metal railing at a cliff edge. Whitewater crashes over partially submerged rocks. Hikers with walking sticks climb stone steps on a wide mountain trail with green plants on both sides. A hiker crosses a low footbridge toward distant forests and mountains. A hiker climbs uneven stone steps near a cliffside. A black bird perches in a tree. A coyote trots through a meadow. A small brown bird peeks its head out of a round hole in a tree trunk. A yellow and black bird perches among long evergreen needles, then flies away. A bear stands in a meadow and looks over at us as it munches on big mouthfuls of plants. A metal sign reads, "Bear Warning." A tourist puts a cooler and a grocery bag in a metal locker and secures it with a chain. A car drives downhill around a tight curve on a mountain road. A truck drives downhill on a mountain road passing a car going uphill. Cars and campers drive slowly and come to a stop on a congested valley road. Tourists wait near a sign for a white and green Yosemite shuttle bus to come to a stop. Inside the bus, tourists sit in seats as buildings and woodlands go by outside. At a bus shelter, a shuttle bus slowly pulls away and drives off. A cyclist rides along a boardwalk trail in the valley. 3 cyclists follow a paved trail through a meadow of brown grass. An elderly couple hikes along a paved trail with yellow autumn trees on both sides. Tourists stop on a wide trail to look up at distant Yosemite Falls. Dozens of hikers climb the narrow, rugged trail leading up to Vernal Fall. Cathedral Peak's steep, pointed cone rises high against a blue sky. Children pose for a photo in front of the grizzly giant, an enormous sequoia tree with a burnt scar. A man carries a child piggyback along a forest trail. A uniformed ranger leads a large group of tourists along a trail. Another ranger talks to tourists in a green meadow. She walks with the tourists along a rocky riverbank. A large wooden sign reads Tuolumne Meadows Visitor Center. Inside, a man looks at an exhibit crafted to look like a huge block of ice. He then looks at a replica historical building. Outdoors, tourists walk by a conical Miwok bark house. Indoors, a Native American woman weaves a small, intricate bowl out of dry grass. Tourists walk near a white, two-story rectangular building with green awnings. A sign on the building reads Wawona Hotel. A large wooden sign reads Pioneer Yosemite History Center. A horse-drawn buggy rolls out of a covered bridge. A blacksmith hammers a red-hot horseshoe on an anvil while another blacksmith talks to tourists. Tourists look at a restored antique log cabin. The 6-seat buggy is drawn by 2 brown horses. A deep black fire scar marks a sequoia's trunk. A mountain is dimly reflected in rippling water. Sunlight glistens on water and wet pebbles. Tourists cross a scenic valley road on bikes. In the valley, autumn trees and a shallow, peaceful river are framed on either side by towering granite cliffs under a clear blue sky.